What's all the fuss over Wild at Heart on Entertainment Tonight?
A current affair will not be seen tonight in order to bring you the following Eyewitness Sports special presentation.
Looking back on the Buffalo Bills' 1989 season brings back a bunch of memories. You name the feeling, the Bills delivered it last season. Let's take a quick look back at the roller coaster ride of the 1989 Buffalo Bills. First, there was anticipation. Then that exciting first turn.
He's going to run it. Touchdown, Buffalo! They win on the last play.
Followed by wild excitement. That sinking feeling. Unexpected turns. Unrestrained speed. Jarring hits. A slight letdown. A big climax. The big drop. Finally, a feeling of overall satisfaction, yet disappointment when it's over. That wild ride of 1989 is now history, and the Buffalo Bills are ready to head into the 90s. Here at WROC Channel 8, we'll be taking a close look at the Bills each week of the season with the help of this man. That's right, number 34, Thurman Thomas. The Bills' all-pro running back will be giving us his insight and opinions right here each week. Tonight, we've got a full evening of football action ahead here on Channel 8, and we'll get started with a live exclusive interview with Bills holdout Thurman Thomas next.
WROC Channel 8 Eyewitness Sports presents The Thurman Thomas Show. Brought to you by your Pontiac Performers. We build excitement. Now, here's J.C. DeLack.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'd like to start out by welcoming one of the top running backs in pro football, number 34 for the Buffalo Bills, Thurman Thomas. And Thurman, welcome to Rochester.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. It really is.
Thurman, by now, of course, Bills fans are well aware of your contract situation and the holdout. Give the fans an update on the current situation with the negotiations.
Well, the current situation right now that we have right now is it's not basically the first 2 years that I have remaining on my contract right now. It's the following 3 years that they want to give me. And if I was to sign a packet right now that they're offering today, in the next 2 years, I'll be in the same situation. I'll probably be holding out again, especially if my last 2 years on this remaining contract go as they did on my first 2 years. I'll be in the same situation. So we expect maybe Wednesday or Thursday of next week I should be in camp.
Now, as you mentioned, you do have 2 years left on your original contract. The negotiations, are they including tacking on years so that you'll be playing for the amount of money that you signed for as a rookie, or will you be throwing that contract out and starting fresh?
Well, I'll be throwing that contract out, which is supposedly supposed to pay me $235,000 this year, and they're upping that on the remaining two to like $700,000, $750,000. But like I said, it's not the 2 years that I have remaining on my contract. It's the extension years, which is 3 years.
An argument you've heard before is that some people think you should honor your original contract that you signed as a rookie. What do you say to those people? Well,
the only thing I can say right now is that they redid. This is the second time they redone Andre Reed's contract, and Andre's a great player, and they redid Kelly's contract. So my point right now is to not be in camp, because if I go in camp right now in this situation, and if I get hurt, the extension of the contract, the Bills won't even offer it to me. So right now I'm just taking it day by day and not not just staying in shape, really, and just going out and working out on my own, and hopefully we'll get things resolved sooner or later.
Thurman, how would you term the negotiations with the Bills so far? Have they been cordial or a little bit tense?
Well, I think it's been on both sides. You know, Bill Polian had came out a couple of days ago and said we're not returning his phone calls, but it's been on both sides. We haven't returned his phone calls, and he hasn't returned ours. So it hasn't been all bad on my agent part, and it hasn't been all bad on Bill's part. So we're just working at this. Thing goes on with other teams in the NFL, and so there's nothing new that I've witnessed and nothing new I've heard.
You've already missed 3 weeks of training camp. How tough is it going to be for you to get into game shape?
Well, I don't think it'll be that tough. When I work out during the summer, I consider myself one of the best athletes to train, to be in shape for the lake conditions that they have in Buffalo. So I train myself pretty hard, so I don't think it'll be a major factor in me getting out there and playing the entire football game. I think I'm ready for it, and you know, I'm excited. I haven't been out there in 3 weeks, so I'm really ready for it.
You're joined on the sidelines by Shane Conlon and Will Wolford, two veterans also holding out. How do you think the holdouts, yours and also Conlon and Wolford's, how do you think those holdouts are going to affect the team when the season does start?
I don't think it's going to affect the team because I think once the new contract came out with the TV situation, they were going to expect a lot of people to be holding out. You know, like I said, it's not just the Buffalo Bills, it's everybody in the NFL that's holding out with players. So I don't think it's going to affect us because right now, you know, this is our goal right now. Our goal is to get to Tampa Bay this season. So we just need to get in camp, and I'm sure, you know, all the players, we've been there for a while, so we know the system. They won't be in any trouble as a rookie coming in and trying to develop himself. So I think if we go in and we take care of business of ourselves and get the 3 holdouts, including myself in, we'll be okay. Final
question, bottom line, what's it going to take to get Thurman Thomas back into camp? Will you show up in camp without a new contract?
Well, I tell you, with things, the way things are going right now, and if it gets like to the couple of days before the season starts, or maybe the last preseason game, you know, I might just walk up to Bill and say, hey, Bill, I'm just going to go out here and play, you know, the remainder of, you know, this year, and hopefully we can work out doing something during the season. But, you know, right now I'm looking for the extension, but if it doesn't happen, I don't think I'm going to sit out a year. I'm going to talk to my agent about that. So I don't want to sit out a year because I think this is the year we're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, Thurman. Of course, speaking of training camp, Thurman, we spent some time with the rest of the team in Fredonia this week without Thurman there, who's in the holdout situation. But coming up next, we'll begin our look at the offense and the road ahead for the 1990 Buffalo Bills.
What was the original name of the Buffalo team in the old All-American Football Conference? The answer after this break.
Look out tomorrow. Here comes.
What's making the powerful Grand Prix Coupe even easier to handle? And what's making the Grand Prix 4-door sedan even easier to get into? The same thing that's making the special touring edition of the Grand Prix even more special. This $2,000 cash back for a limited time. See your Pontiac dealer now.
Old Squarehead laughed at my odd diamond head, but he couldn't clean better or more comfortably. So he left, and Peggy moved in.
Colgate Plus, the odd-looking, super-cleaning, comfy-feeling toothbrush.
I'm amazed. Thanks to Super Polygrip Powder, I'm actually eating a hard roll.
Super Polygrip Powder holds so tight, many denture wearers can enjoy more of their favorite foods.
Even hard rolls.
Super Polygrip Powder.
Coming up next, an interview with Bills quarterback Jim Kelly as the Thurman Thomas Show continues.
Lauer's annual August clearance sale is now in progress. Our $3 million inventory at August clearance savings with no payment or interest until November 20th. Lauer's, Monroe Avenue.
Hills is the place for kids.
The American school kid. We love them. Hill sends them back to school each year with high hopes and with fashions that are cool, like oversized tops, all kinds of oversized, over-legging stirrup pants and skirts that fit. For back-to-school fashion,
Hills is the place for kids.
radical dude.
Your eyeglasses affect not only what you see,
just what you hear.
Who kicked those out?
Next time, come to Sterling Optical. You'll hear the difference.
Regis and Kathy Lee, weekdays at 9 on TV 8.
What was the original name of the Buffalo team in the old All-American Football Conference? The Bison. Now, back to the Thurman Thomas Show.
Welcome back. With the regular season only 3 weeks away, the mood in Fredonia is far from casual. An unpredictable series of events has left the Bills vulnerable in a pivotal area, the offensive line.
It's hard to get continuity going in such a short time. I think once those guys get back, when Jimmy gets back from his shoulder and Will gets his contract worked out, I think that's when, I don't know how to say this, I guess the unity kind of comes to itself. If there's ever a phase of this game that there's not anybody any closer together as a unit would be the offensive line. I think they work hand in hand, everybody, from one tackle to the other, and so we can't wait for those guys to get back.
For the most part, I think we've all come through. Mitch Farrat and John Davis have done a great job filling in, and I've been kind of thrown in, and I hope I've done a good job, and the rest of the guys are just, I don't think we feel the pressure now.
As a rookie and playing on the line, do you find that this is one of the most difficult spots to be thrown in, to right away you got to jump in there and make a contribution?
Well, the offensive line as a whole for a rookie is very tough, I think, but the left tackle spot especially, I likened it to be throwing to the Sharks or, Christian to the Lions or anything like that, but it's just because that's usually where the best pass rushers are on the other team, and you just got to do the best you can.
Of course, the #1 priority of the offensive line is to protect the quarterback. For the Bills, that job is more important than ever after awarding star quarterback Jim Kelly a new big money contract. Earlier this week, we talked with Kelly about the upcoming season. Jim, capture the mood of training camp for the folks at home. It seems to me, everybody I've talked to, a very positive camp so far.
Yeah, it's been a real good camp, except for a few injuries, but overall, I think some of the younger players are pushing some of the veterans, making them work a little bit harder to get better. Right now, so far so good. It hasn't even really stormed yet, so we've had every practice so far.
He talks about the injuries and, of course, the offensive line, hard hit, starters going down, and holdouts causing some trouble there. Assess the offensive line's play so far in camp.
They've been doing, I think, a real good job, minus a couple of the players that are injured, plus Will Wolford not in here. I think it's putting a lot of, not pressure, but a lot of emphasis on some of the younger players to step in and contribute. I think you going into the season where you do have some injuries, it's going to tell the younger guys, hey, you better be ready soon. And the Parkers, the Nelsons, they've been doing a pretty good job. It's kind of surprising how quick they did pick it up.
Against the Giants, that was Glenn Parker's first pro game, and he got a lot of experience out of that, and it seemed to hold up pretty well.
Yeah, I think he did a super job. He had all of his assignments done perfect. He was offsides twice, but for a rookie, his first start, left tackle, guarding against the quarterback's blind side, I think he did a super job, and I'd give him an A-. The minus comes with the 2 offsides, but we got jack him a little bit.
Talk about your receivers a second. You've got a great core this year with Andre back, of course, and James Lofton looked great in the first preseason game, and Don Beebe from last year off a good performance.
We have some good receivers, some young talents coming in, and like I said before, it's pushing some of the veterans to make them work a little harder. James Lofton, I'm not even going to say how old you are, James, but he seems like he's about 25 the way he runs his routes, but I think in the future you're going to see a lot out of Don Beebe. I think he's going to be one of the great receivers. And of course, can't say enough about Andre Reed. I mean, the guy's just done everything. He's achieved every goal he set out to do, so hopefully his goals are going to be set a little higher and he'll achieve them again just like last year.
What kind of changes do you think people can expect to see in the offense this year? Will it be different than last year?
No, I don't think so. I think we're going to run the basic same offense we did last year. Really can't change because we're so successful last year. We're in the top 3 or 4 in the National Football League in total offense. We broke the Bills' records for scoring, total offense. Why change something like that?
Mm-hmm. You yourself are coming in this year with the new contract, and with that comes a certain amount of expectations. Have you felt the pressure at all from those expectations?
No, just when I first signed, everybody expected 45 touchdowns a year, but it's just not going to happen in our offense and in Buffalo. The main thing is for us to win. It doesn't matter what Jim Kelly's stats are. Me personally, it matters to win the loss column.
When you first came in, you were on such a high when you came into Buffalo, and then the past few years, there's been some rocky times. But Now, just talking to you in camp, I know you seem like you're really back on a high. Has it been a maturing process here in Buffalo and for the Bills?
No, I think it doesn't matter what type of player you are. You're not going to go through your career on a level that you keep peaking, and keep getting, you know, everything working out for the best. You're going to have your peaks where you come down a little bit, and I think everybody goes through that. Terry Bradshaw went through that, won 4, and then wound up winning 4 Super Bowls. Same thing with Joe Montana. So you have to go through those times, and it's just a matter of you know, coming back strong and I guess being confident in the people around you.
Final question, that's the big one. What's it going to take for this team to go all the way, make it to the Super Bowl this year?
It should be easy. Win the games we're supposed to win, period.
Just that easy?
No, it's never that easy.
Who holds the Bills' record for most consecutive games throwing a touchdown pass? Is it A, Joe Ferguson, B, Jim Kelly, C, Jack Kemp, or D, Dennis Shaw? Stay tuned for the answer.
What's making the quick, responsive Grand Am Sport Coupe even easier to own? And what's making the performance and practicality of the Grand Am Sport Sedan an even smarter buy? The same thing that's making the Grand Am SE with its high-output 16-valve engine an even hotter value. This.
See your nearest Pontiac performer today.
So much fun in just one place. Hang on for the wild one. Hang on for the cool one. Enchanted Forest, water safari, where the fun never stops. Hang on for the wild one. Hang on for the cool one. If you could see us now. Wow.
Coming up next, we'll talk with Bills head coach Marv Levy.
That's probably the major concern we have right now is putting together an offensive line that can function.
Announcing Faye's new back-to-school circular. Another way to save some bread. Save now on Whiskas cat foods, only 16 cents each after rebate on 12 cans. These colorful Pentec marker and pen sets are 2 for just $2.99. And 16-ounce M&M's chocolate candies are only $1.99. Now, during Faye's back-to-school savings sale.
New York, are you ready for a good time?
It's the Great New York State Fair's 150th anniversary. Buy your admission tickets now and save $2. See thousands of exhibits, displays, horse shows, and top-name entertainment for one low admission price. So buy now and save $2. Kids 12 and under are free every day.
Come on, everybody, and join the fun. There's nowhere like a Great New York State Fair.
August 24th through September 3rd, Syracuse.
The record is held by Jim Kelly, whose 18-game streak ran from November 2nd, 1986 through December 14th, 1987. Let's return now to the Thurman Thomas Show.
Welcome back as we continue our look at the Bills' offense. The play calling will once again be in the hands of assistant Ted Marchibroda. Critics have labeled the veteran coach too conservative, but he disputes that.
The important thing in our business is to win, and the last 2 years we've won the divisional championship, and even last year we threw for 32 touchdown passes, which is the most that the Bills have ever thrown, and we also combined running and passing for more yardage. So I'm not sure that the criticism is totally warranted. I would rather have the criticism in the yardage rather than the criticism and not the yardage. So we're very happy with the way the offense has performed.
Talk a bit about your receivers this year. James Lofton, Don Beebe, and Andre Reed. You put those three together, and there's not a lot of teams that can match that for talent.
We feel that way, and you know, and with Thurman coming out of the backfield and with Kelly throwing the football to them, we're happy and excited, and we feel that we're ahead of last year because at this time we didn't have James Lofton. At this time we didn't know exactly what Don Beebe can do. So it's we're looking forward to an excellent year.
There was some criticism about the offense. It seems there always is that the Bills don't open it up enough. You're on the inside. You're in the meetings. Do you guys feel that criticism? Do you feel like maybe the team will be opening it up more?
Well, you know, you have to have a balance between the two. You know, you have to have a great running attack like we do, and then you have to have a good passing attack to complement each other. you can't do one or the other. You know, there's teams in the league that pass a lot, and then there's teams in the league that run a lot, and those teams usually don't land up on the winning end. So usually the teams that are on the winning end are the teams that run good and pass good, so you have to have a balance of both.
If you were in San Diego when Dan Fouts were there, the complaint would have been that you throw the ball too much. If you were in Buffalo when O.J. Simpson were here, the complaint was that you run the ball too much. So nobody's ever happy. And there is always a play that should have been called that wasn't called. And there are a lot of armchair quarterbacks, and they start on the sidelines and they walk all the way up through the stadium and up into the press box.
There's a challenge every year. You know, you win the division 2 years in a row. People are going to expect you to win it again. And not only are we trying to get stronger, but the other teams in our division are getting stronger. So we have to up our tempo a little bit more because they're going to be shooting for us. So, you know, the guys got to be ready for everything.
It's time now to hear from the head coach. Marv Levy is entering his 5th season with the Bills. And recently, we sat down with him to talk about what lies ahead for Buffalo this season. Coach, coming off Monday's game against the Giants, I know you wanted to look at the film first before you commented about any specific player's performance, but in general, after seeing the film, were you pleased or disappointed?
Well, first of all, we're not very pleased in having somebody run for over 300 yards against us, regardless of who's on the field. I temper any judgments I make, however, by coming back to what our objectives going into the game would be. Different teams have different objectives. Ours are to look at our players, to be sure we're going to select our best 47 players. Sometimes you got to look at 30 to find 4, and we did that. And our first team, when they left the field, we were leading 3-0. And over the past 3 years, we've only played our first team about a quarter, and in none of those games have we trailed, either been in front or tied when they've come off the field. So that is something we feel pretty good about. They moved a lot, and even some of the players are being moved against showed us that they merit some additional look at. Some of them we say, unless the guy does an immediate reversal, he probably won't make our team.
Talking about the offensive line, you had some young guys that were forced into some positions there because of the injuries and the holdouts. Glenn Parker, a rookie, played most of the game at left tackle. How did he grade out for you?
Glenn, considering that he moved to left tackle very late, that we didn't bring him here to be a tackle, but because of the injuries and the holdout by Will Wolford had to go over there, did a very respectable job. We played another 7th-round draft choice in there, Brent Griffith, and although Brent struggled, we saw some signs in him which were encouraging. It was a patched-up line. Jim Richer wasn't in it. Leonard Burton, who would have been our starting right guard, or at least was a leading candidate. Pete Metzelaars, Will Wolford were all out. But some of the players played pretty well. Kent Hull and Howard Ballard played just a little more than a quarter. So we got to look at a lot of the linemen. Again, if we looked at 7 or 8 of them, maybe two of them might emerge, and we'll add them to our roster.
The game against the Lions, will that be the kind of game where you start to really pick out who's going to help you this year?
No, I think we're still looking at players, and we probably will do so right through the 3rd game of the year, after which we have to cut down to 60, and then maybe we'll play our starters a little bit more. We're in the process of picking out all the time, but to say that we're able to reach a judgment, it's a little bit like sending the jury into chambers after one witness has testified. Too early.
Talking about the offense in training camp, do you like what you've seen so far?
Well, we've liked what we've seen in practice. In the game, we had one drive that finally petered out, and we had to settle for a field goal on it. Some of the problems we're having, which we just talked about with our offensive line, have set us back a bit, and that's probably the major concern we have right now, is putting together an offensive line that can function.
Jim Kelly played only a couple of series, looked very good, and he's had a great camp. People have told us he's had a great camp. That's got to make you happy that he's responded to the supposed pressure of the big money contract and whatever. It seems like he's really responded and put that aside.
Jim's having the best camp in the 4 years I've been here. His concentration on football is exactly what we want. He's throwing the ball well. He's getting a good working relationship with his receivers that he has to have, a good feel for his receivers. So that's been very encouraging.
Can we expect any changes on offense this year, or are you going to try and just basically do the same things you did last year when the offense was very successful?
Well, in terms of any evolvement, yes. In terms of a gross change in approach or philosophy, no. We look at what we've done well for a period of time that opponents have finally devised a way of shutting down, and we say, well, if they're going to shut it down that way, maybe we should, this is going to really take, this is where they let themselves vulnerable. So we've done some evolving. We want to strike good balance in our attack. We had a good running game last year, and I think the fact was obscured that the Buffalo Bills had, from a statistical standpoint, the most productive passing year in their history. More touchdown passes, more total yardage passing, best touchdown pass interception ratio. So we thought we had a good passing game. We don't want to be complacent. There are things we can improve on, and there are some fine-tuning adjustments we've made, and we'll be using. We may be using a few more wide receivers at times in the game than we did last year.
Who had more sacks in his rookie NFL season? Cornelius Bennett or Lawrence Taylor? The answer in just a moment.
Who says luxury cars can't be exciting? Take a closer look at the 1990 Pontiac Bonneville. Here is an automobile born of luxury and bred to perform. An American-engineered road machine that delivers all the comfort you'd expect and the performance you demand. And now, during the Pontiac Performers Hot Summer Sell-Down, Bonneville delivers something extra. $1,500 cash back. That's right, $1,500 cash back. See your nearest Pontiac Performer today.
For the itch and pain of bug bites and allergic rashes, even the strongest hydrocortisone can't give you the same kind of relief you get from Benadryl cream, because it stops the pain and blocks itch right where it starts. Benadryl cream and spray.
We thought you'd like to know that Tic Tac breath mints are made with sugar, because sometimes things are made with sugar and you don't even know it. Sugar-free Certs Mini Mints, the only little mint that's sugar-free. Now you know.
Get the inside scoop on Detroit Lions star Barry Sanders as we go back live with Thurman Thomas next.
Why can't they make a stronger flea collar?
Someone has. Scratch X. Look, compared to Hearts and Sergeants, Scratch X has the power to kill twice as many fleas. Compare. All these collars kill fleas, but Scratch X has the power to kill twice as many fleas, since it's government approved to work twice as long.
Yet Scratch X is safe for 3-month-old pets.
Remember, compared to Hearts and Sergeant's 5-month collars, the Scratch X 11-month collar has the power to kill twice as many fleas.
It's some things that have changed for the better, and some things that haven't changed at all. It's getting something back again you thought you might be losing. It's everyone for one another instead of everyone for himself. It's finding something in yourself you never knew you had. Bowling at BPAA centers. It's a whole lot more than a game.
Visit a participating Fun Time bowling center near you.
We're back live in the Channel 8 studios with Thurman Thomas. And Thurman, coming up next, the Bills taking on the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Lions featuring your good buddy Barry Sanders from Oklahoma State. What's Barry told you about the Lions team this year?
Well, I talked to Barry Monday, and he said that they're opening up a lot more with Andre Ware not being signed yet. They're giving Rodney Peter opportunity to learn more about the offense, but I think they would be a lot better team with Andre Ware in there. And like I said, I expect big things out of Barry this year, and he expects a lot more because he really didn't get into the regular season till like midway, really get things really started in the way he wanted to run the ball. But I expect big things out of Barry this year, maybe even 2,000 yards. So I expect big things out of him.
We'll look for a good game from Barry tonight, but not too good against the Bills.
Well, coming from Oklahoma State, I hope he does well, but not that well.
Okay. We want to tell the folks at home the answer to the trivia question they saw just a second ago. It was Cornelius Bennett. So hope you got that one right. Well, coming up next week on the Thurman Thomas Show, the focus will be on the defense when we come to you Saturday night at 7:30 here on Channel 8. So we'll see you then.
Limousine transportation for the Thurman Thomas Show provided by Ann's Limousine Service. Tonight, you ride in style.
Ontario Honda.
You know, it only makes sense that the best place to buy a Honda is a place that specializes in Hondas. Well, at Ontario Honda, Hondas are all we sell. Whether it's our best-selling Accord, the sporty Prelude, or economical CRX, nobody works harder to get you into the Honda you want at a price you can afford.
Ontario Honda.
6 miles south of the Thruway in Canandaigua.
You got a friend.
From Hollywood.